Okay, so today we're going to work with equations with fractions. Okay? I was going to do this in one day. We're going to split up into 2 days. Because it's going to take a little bit to understand. So, 5 through 9 here are what we did yesterday. Okay? 1 through 4 is a little bit different. When we're working with equations and fractions, we're going to do something a little bit different. So the first thing we have to do is make all parts of the equation fractions. Okay? So if no denominator, we're going to add denominator. So if you look here, all of this is a fraction. This isn't. So over here, I'm going to make this a fraction. Where's my mouse gone? There you go. We're going to make it a fraction. And since there's nothing there, we're just going to put it over 1. That's our first thing we're going to do. That's a horrible one. Let's try that again. Okay? So, that's our first step. Step number 2 is make all the denominators the same. Okay. So we need to make all the denominators the same. So this here, the denominator is 4. We're going to leave that a 4. Over here, we're going to make that a 4. Now how we make that as 4 is we're going to times this by 4. Okay? Where's my little glove thing? So I'm just getting used to my writing. So we're going to times that by 4. And what we do to the bottom, we also have to do the top. So I'm going to times this by 4. Okay? So that's going to equal, top's going to stay the same. Over 4. Now, 7 times 4 is going to be 28. And 4 times 1 is going to be 4. So once all the denominators are the same, we erase the denominators. Now they're the same here, so they're not going to bother anything. So what we actually do is go through and we erase the denominators. Okay? Then if you look, we have a regular equation to solve. Right? And then we solve the equation as a normal equation. That's what we have. We have a normal equation here. So here we are. We distribute. Okay? Oops. Now we are going to distribute here and here. So it's going to be 3y minus 15 equals 28. For some reason my computer always loves to slow it down for some reason. That's going to look really funky. So then I'm going to move this over and it does the inverse operation. So then we're going to be 3y equals 28 plus 15. So we're going to have 3y equals, what's that, 38, 42, 43. That's an ugly number. Times 4, 28. Minus 15. That is my number. Where'd my calculator go? So I want to make sure, because that's quite an ugly number. 42 would be a much nicer number. Yep, I think that's it. That would be 28 plus 15 equals 43. Right. Then we're going to divide by the coefficient. So we got y equals, what's that? 14 1/3. 14.3, I think is the answer. Yep. Or if we want to leave as a fraction, oh my god, what is that? Let's leave as a fraction instead. So if I left that as a fraction, it'd be 43 over 3. So, let's practice another one here. So right now we have, let's go up here, we have 6 equals 1 over 3, bracket 8 plus x. Now you're going to tell me that looks different from that one, because up here we had the fraction go all the way underneath. Well, they're with a multiply, so we can actually do, and I'm going to erase my ugly stuff here. That's plus x. Okay, is I'm just going to continue this line all the way through. It means the same thing. Now, first thing you need to do is make everything a fraction. So that side's a fraction, this side isn't. So I'm going to put over 1. Now this is what we're aiming at. We're aiming for a denominator of 3. So to get a denominator of 3 over here, we have to multiply this by 3. And what we do to the bottom, we also have to do to the top. So that's going to equal 18 over 3 equals 1 bracket 8 plus x all over 3. Now since we have the denominators the same, we can just erase them. Which then is going to equal, if we do this, we have 18 equals, there's a 1 outside there, so if I were to distribute that, nothing's going to change. 8 plus x, now I need to rearrange, that's going to go that way, it's going to equal 18 minus x, minus 8 equals x, so x equals 10. Alright, so there's our answer. X equals 10. So, those are pretty simple. Not pretty simple, they're a little more difficult. Big thing in, make it a fraction, then get the denominators to be the same. Once you have the denominators the same, you can just erase it. So here's another one. This kind of looks a little weird, but let's say it just looks different. So in this say we have 5 minus k. K is going to be horrible to write, and we have 2 over 3 over here. So first step is make everything a fraction. So that's what I'm going to do. Everything's a fraction. Second step is make everything have the same denominator. So we need a denominator of 3. So in these guys, we're going to multiply this by 3, multiply this by 3, and what we do to the bottom, we have to do to the top. So that's going to equal 15 over 3 minus 3k over 3 equals 2 over 3. Perfect. Now we have all the denominators the same. Once we have all the denominators the same, we just erase them. And we have our normal fraction now. We have a normal equation. Now for this one, I'm going to move the 15 over to the other side. So we have negative 3k equals 2 minus 13, oops, 15. I was thinking of the answer already. Then we're going to divide by the coefficient. Oops, my mistake. I was one step ahead. That should be negative 3k equals negative 13. So therefore, now we divide by the coefficient. And I'm just going to leave this as a fraction. Now negative over negative is going to equal a positive, so it's just going to be 13 over 3. Away we go from there. So we've got it kind of down where if we have something without a fraction on one side, we're good to go. What happens if there's fractions on both sides? Okay, so if there's a fraction on both sides, same rule still applies. Except we don't have to do the first step. So, first step is make everything a fraction. Boom, we're done already. We don't have to do anything, because they're both fractions on each side. Now it says make the denominators the same. So to make the denominators the same, we need to find the lowest common term between both those. So you can think about it, or you can just think, okay, You just multiply them by each other. So to find my lowest term, I'm going to multiply this one by 5. And what I do to the bottom, I have to do to the... Oh, my mouse is wandering on me. I'm going to do this by 5. And I'm going to do this by 3. And what I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. So I do this by 3. So I'm going to multiply this side. Whatever that number is, I times it by this side. Whatever this number is, I multiply it by this side. That's going to get us common denominators. So that's going to get me 5 times k is 5k. Oh boy. That was not good. Let's do that again. 5k plus 10. And 3 times 5 is 15. Equals 3 times k is 3k minus 12 over 15. Now we have common denominators, right? So let's go and erase our denominators. And then we have a normal equation again. So this time my biggest variable is over here. So I'm going to bring this over, which means I'm going to bring this over. So I like to write what I have already. That 3 is coming over, it's positive, so it's going to become a negative. Equals, I already have this over here. And then that 10's going over, it's positive, so when it comes over, it's going to be negative. 5 minus 3 is 2k equals negative 22. Then we divide by our coefficient. So k equals negative 11. So the big thing to remember there is finding a common denominator. If you can't think of it right off the bat, just multiply them by each other. So in this one, 3 is the original one. I'm going to times it by 5. 5 is the original one here. I times it by 3. Now, right here, let's write this one down. Y plus 2. I'm really good on this sometimes, and then I'm horribly bad. It's a lot easier than using a mouse, though. I'm only going to get better. So once again, first step, make them all fractions. Made them all fractions. Now we need a common denominator. Now if we look at this, 9 and 3, we could multiply this by 3 and multiply this by 9, but if we recognize that 3 goes in the 9, if we multiply this by 3, we're going to get the 9. So I need to multiply all of this up here by 3. So I'm going to put brackets around it because we've been using distribution. So this is going to stay the same. X plus 2 over 9 equals, now the bottom here is going to be 9. And up here we're going to distribute, which is going to be 3y minus 9. And once again, we have common denominators. So once we have common denominators, we can just get rid of them. And then we're on to here. Now, if we look here, let's make that a y. Here's my biggest one. So I'm going to bring this y this way. I'm going to bring this way. So on this side, it's 2 plus 9, because the negative over here becomes a positive, equals 3y. That's a positive y over here, so when it comes over, it's going to become negative, which equals 11 and 2y. When we get here, we divide by the coefficient. These are going to cancel out. We'll leave this as a fraction. And there's our answer. 11 over 2. So that is what we're doing today. So the big thing here, if you remember, make all parts of the equation fractions first, right? If they're not. That's why we added ones there. Make the denominators the same. That's where we multiplied this side by 4. Once all denominators are the same, erase the denominators. Then we're solving the equation as normal. Okay? Hopefully that all makes sense, and we keep working ahead. Okay? Have a good day. If you have any questions, make sure you email me, and I'll answer them as soon as I can. Okay? Good night.